All right, so sticking with college football here, Colorado now 2-0. They blew out Nebraska. They got Colorado State this Saturday, 10 p.m. So, Adrian, is it realistic that this Colorado team can win the Pac-12?
I would. I don't want to sound like a hater. I know I'm gonna sound like a hater. He's getting so much love, and I'm very proud of the job Dion's doing, and he's revitalized that program that's been dead for we know the last 2 decades, man. And I think he can do it, but I just think say they won the Pac-12 this year is a stretch with USC, Washington, Oregon. I just think there's the top half of that league is too good. I think Colorado's is another year behind, especially like I said, they don't have any depth yet. That hasn't showed yet. The way they played in that first half against Nebraska was bad, and Nebraska was trying to give them that game. And if you do that to a Oregon or USC or Oregon State or Utah, they'll just wear on you. And I just think Colorado's going to wear down later in the season. I still think they'll be good, 7 or 8 games. I think that's reasonable in my opinion. Slow and steady wins the race, but people are so quick to react to just he's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's just like, okay, there are two opponents. TCU's a little overrated. Nebraska, I don't know what they're doing. They can't even snap the football right. But all in all, I chance to win, no. But to win the Pac-12, I'm going to say no.
Okay. Where you at with Colorado? You think they can win the Pac-12?
Yeah, and I'm with Adrian. And again, my one friend is a huge Dion supporter, big Dion supporter. My part of my family is big Dion supporter because, as I said last time, my nephew goes to CU. So my brother-in-law, who is also a Florida State fan, now is a partial CU fan because his son goes there. So and Dion coaches, so support a fellow Florida State Seminole. But I don't want to sound like a hater when I say this. His team is putting up major points against these teams. I get it, but like Adrian said, Nebraska was handing you that game with 4 turnovers. That quarterback that Nebraska had two fumbles or 3 interceptions and a fumble, something crazy like that. He looked like Josh Allen. It was just unreal. Like he couldn't hold on to the ball. He had like butterfingers. So, do I think they beat SC? No, because I think that, like Adrian said, they lack depth. I don't think that the offense is as explosive if they play a better defense, because that Nebraska defense was looking really tight too. That Nebraska defense was looking really good. I was looking at their schedule. I think they beat Colorado State because it's like an at-home rivalry game, their biggest rivalry. So I think that's going to be big. But they go to Oregon. I think that's going to be a tough game for them to win. SC comes to Colorado. I know it can probably get loud there for that, but I think SC is just going to out-talent them. I think they'll have trouble with UCLA, but I do think they can ultimately beat them. And I think they'll lose to Utah. Oregon State's ranked ahead of them at 16. They have Uangalele, the ex-Clemson quarterback. So there's people that are going to give them some trouble. I think 9 games is realistically what they're going to win, 8 to 9. But I don't see them winning that division.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're definitely trending in the right direction, but yeah, some tough ones coming up after this Colorado State game, like you said. At Oregon, then USC, close it out with Utah. Luckily, they don't got Washington on the schedule, but
yeah,
it's still a tough schedule, nevertheless. Though the Pac-12
the last 2 weeks of their season is at Washington State, which is very tough to play in Pullman. They just beat Wisconsin, really good Wisconsin team. They got Cam Ward's a good quarterback.
Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah,
I know, man. I look bad on that one.
And then they close out at Utah the Thanksgiving weekend. So you want to talk about playing the air raid team and then going into Utah, one of the craziest stadiums in the Pac-12, and it's probably going to be super cold. They're super physical. I know they escaped the victory over Baylor last weekend, but it's a good Utah team. This schedule is not easy. So if they can,
Utah hasn't even had their starting quarterback, Cameron Rising, who has won 2 back-to-back Pac-12 championships, correct? I think he won last year and the year before, and then he almost beat Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. Like, people forget about that. He put up like 42 points against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. So he comes back, and that team's healthy. Like, that's going to be a tough way to end it. And those bigger name schools are going to be hard to compete against because, again, go back to depth. I mean, that Colorado State team is basically close to the Jackson State team as it gets. Do you think Shedeur gets a nod or Travis Hunter gets a nod for the Heisman if they continue?
Yes, right? Yeah, if they continue playing like this, yes, absolutely, I definitely could see it. Just having Dion one as your dad and having two to spotlight, they have all the attention on them right now, so they continue to play well. I definitely think he has a chance to get to New York. He has 903 passing yards, 7 touchdowns in 2 games. He's already shattering school records, and school's been around 80 to 100 years. So I'm proud of him. He's showing the world that they thought he couldn't do it because he played at a smaller school, but he was a hell of a high school quarterback too. So
stats are beating Michael Penix's stats right now.
Let's see.
Yeah. Sanders would definitely be at that ceremony next to JJ for sure.
Yeah, he's second in the country in passing yards, only behind Braden Schrager of Hawaii.